Well, hello and welcome to my Christmas Eve podcast extravaganza. Actually, for some of you on other parts of the world, it might be Christmas by the time this video is uploaded, but Merry Christmas in that case. Anyway, I am ready with my Christmas mug full of chai. I actually use this mug. Woo, it's hot. I just had it in the microwave. I actually use this mug all year round because I like how wide it is. Wider mugs make for a better tea drinking experience, and I like that the handle doesn't have metal in it, so when I put it in the microwave, I don't scald myself if I hold it by the handle, and I like the size. It's just perfect. This chai tea is really good too. And I have my assortment of homemade Christmas cookies. I'll tell you more about these cookies and the tea later. But anyway, I'm gonna get right to the Q&A portion of this video. I sent out requests about a week ago for everybody asking you guys for questions for me to answer, and this is what I got. So what is your favorite translation that you've done where you just went, yeah, that works even better than I expected, go me? I don't keep a log of these translations. I don't keep a log. I should start keeping a diary of like, this is the best translation ever on July 17th, 2015. But what immediately comes to mind, I guess, just in general, is anytime I have done a translation or like a full English version of a song, like an anime song that was originally in Japanese. Anytime I've done one of those, I've been like pleasantly surprised. Like as I'm translating it and then also trying to work it out so that all the syllables match up with the music and that it rhymes and everything and that it's actually singable in English. As I'm working it out, I think to myself, that sounds dumb. But then like after the fact, when I listen to it, like in the case of Yori Moi, that anime, I did the theme song in English. Like when I listened to it after the fact, I thought, that actually works really well. That worked out better than expected. Go me. So I guess, yeah, it's anytime I have to do like a full-on localization. I've even sometimes within things that I've translated, within projects I've translated, if one of the characters was a poet, sometimes they have like poems or songs that come up. In one game I'm translating, you're dating an idol, like a pop idol, so he has song lyrics in there. So whenever I've translated song lyrics or poem, or like a poem, and it actually flows and has meter and like rhymes and stuff, then I'm always like, yeah, that turned out better than I expected, yay me. Are there companies in Japan that will hire foreign Japanese to English translators to translate anime, hire foreigners to hire foreigners to working in Japan, not in the, okay, yeah. So are there companies that will hire non-Japanese people to work in Japan as translators? Yeah, of course there are. I do not work for such a company, so I don't really have any information on that, except the company that I do translate for, they do have some in-house translators, and like some of their project managers are also in-house. Which would mean, yeah, they actually go into their office in Japan physically, like as their body, not through Skype, and they work that way. But most translators work remotely, just in general. Like it works better, and it just makes more sense to have your translators just work wherever they live, and they don't have to relocate to where you are. But I'm gathering from the tone of this question that the person asking it might be interested in moving to Japan, and then wants like the job as a translator to kind of facilitate that move. And yeah, again, I personally don't really know about it, but yeah, there are companies in Japan that will hire foreigners. Japan, whether they want to admit it or not, they really need immigrants right now. They have a very old population, and there's like empty houses everywhere, and like their birth rate has declined, and they need younger people in their country to help take care of the older people, so they do need immigrants. So if you are interested in moving to Japan, look into it. There's plenty of other people who have made videos about it on the YouTube. There's plenty of people who have written blogs about it on the YouTube. Just look into it if you're interested in moving to Japan. You don't even have to be a translator to move to Japan. Can you tell me your pathways in becoming a Japanese translator? For example, after you graduate high school, what did you do? Which course did you take in university? Oh yeah, okay. I'm graduating high school next year, and I'm aiming in becoming a Japanese translator. And then another person asked a similar question. I would really love to hear about how you became a translator. How did you become a translator? Why did you become a translator? I'm considering becoming a Japanese translator. Yeah, all right. So I do have a few videos where I talked about how I became a Japanese translator. Maybe I'll put cards to them or link them in the video description below. But yeah, the short version is I basically kind of fell ass backwards into it. I was an otaku in high school, and I took Japanese classes in high school, and then I was an exchange student in Japan for a year. That's kind of how I got fluent in it. And then when I came back to the States, I was just kind of like, what do I do now? And I was already kind of just translating light novels and manga and songs on the internet, on my website already. I was just kind of doing that already. And then I just kind of expanded. And I was lucky because Discotheque Media used to be a fan subbing group. And so I was translating for them before they became Discotheque Media. And then when they became Discotheque Media, they're like, hey, we're a company now. Can you still translate for us? And so I kind of already had a foot in the door just through them. And then years later, back when work was starting to die down a little bit with Discotheque, they were getting more into just re-releasing old series. I still had that, thing that I could put on my resume. And so when I was applying for jobs with agencies, like I already had that, and also the JLPT N2. I went ahead and I took that and passed that. Got way back in 2011. I keep pondering whether or not I want to take the N1. Like I've taken the sample test questions and I think I could probably pass it. It's kind of, it's one of those like you have to have good test taking skills to do well in it. It doesn't really do a great job at testing how good your Japanese is in my opinion. But yeah, I only really had the JLPT N2, BA, in theater and dance, not in Japanese, and a few years experience translating for Discotheque Media. That was kind of my as far as experience levels go. You can go to college and major in translation. You could go to college and major in Japanese or in English. But yeah, I don't really recommend that, to be honest, especially if you want to be a translator of like anime and such. I recommend just like going to Japan, living there, getting fluent, building your connections, and then going from there. And this next person asked a lot of questions. So why do you think you chose the path of a freelancer? Okay, so not translator specifically. Yeah, so for those of you who are unaware, haven't watched my other videos, I don't just translate anime and games freelance. I do other things freelance as well. I have been and still am a freelance tutor of a couple different subjects. I also have like just freelance sold crafts that I have made online. That worked out a lot better when my cost of living, which was much lower. Like when I was a young adult, I could kind of get away with making a lot of my income doing that. What else have I done? Oh yeah, also for a good 10 years there, I was choreographing musicals for high schools. I've lost all of my theater dance connections since I moved away, so I don't really have that anymore. But yeah, I've taught dance and choreographed as well. And pretty much all of that was freelance. I guess, yeah, I did. It wasn't exactly a conscious decision so much as like, I don't know, the whole go and get a normal job, in air quotes, at an office thing, it just never really resonated with me. I felt like that was harder than just freelancing, which is not true. Freelancing is so much harder. I don't know, I guess I just like the freedom that comes with freelancing. And like, before I realized it, because I had already been doing it for a few years, it was just habit by then. It just doesn't occur to me. Like occasionally it'll occur to me, wait, you could go try to get a job sitting at a desk like a normal person and like working 9 to 5. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of not in my programming at this point. What kind of music do you usually like to listen to? And I listen to music while working? And if so, what kind? So I do not really like listening to music while working, and I don't understand people who can do that. It's so distracting to me, because I don't know, I guess it depends on how people like to listen to music. I like to actively listen to music, like I like to really be paying attention to the music. I don't like to have it on in the background so much while I'm doing other things, unless it's music that I don't really care about, in which case, why am I even listening to it in the first place? So the only time I ever listen to music while I work is if that work is something like making crafts, where I'm just using my hands and I'm not really using my brain as much, then I can listen to music. Or I have listened to music sometimes while translating. I'll listen to, if I'm translating a period piece, sometimes to put me in the mood, I'll listen to like koto or shamisen Japanese music, like very traditional sounding Japanese music, because it's kind of boring enough and not really my kind of music that I can tune it out, but it also helps create that ambiance that puts me in the mood for, I am in the 1700s or whatever. So yeah, that's really the only kind of music I'll listen to while I'm working. As far as the kind of music I like, I mean, as you go through your life, you kind of go through phases of what you like and what you don't like. But I pretty much always like anything Baroque. I like classical music, but that's such a broad category. I mostly like classical music from the Baroque era, so simpler music that's more mathematical and less boom boom, less Beethoven-y and more Bach-y. I like that kind of classical music. I also like heavy metal a lot, just like all metal, like most genres of metal. I even like some death metal and black metal. It's just fun. And then my husband and I, whenever we go on road trips, we have like this 80s music playlist. We just listen to 80s music while we're driving. So I don't know, it just kind of depends on the situation. Oh, and I also really like J-pop and J-rock, but I haven't been keeping up with it. Like I haven't been keeping up with recent J-pop and J-rock for the last decade, pretty much. I just kind of tuned out. I think part of it is I got frustrated because every time I tried to look up my current favorite artists like Hamasaki Ayumi and such, like on YouTube, they don't have the music or they only have small clips of it. So I would just get frustrated and just like, well, screw it. I don't feel like going through all the other rigmarole to figure out how to get this music for free because I'm poor. So I'm just not going to listen to it. What tips do you have for studying Japanese by reading manga? How do you deal with learning new vocabulary words while reading? What kind of notes did you take? Okay, so yeah, I get questions like this sometimes where people are asking for like methodology of learning Japanese, by yourself, not through official language courses. And often they'll ask questions like, how many hours a day do you study? What kind of notes do you take? What kind of tools do you use? And my answer, I feel like will always disappoint people because I just read manga. There's nothing else to it. I just read a bunch of manga. I read like 3 to 4 volumes of manga a day. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I didn't take notes. I just read, kind of like when you're learning your native language. When I was learning English and I was reading books, like I wasn't stopping and looking up words I didn't know. I wasn't stopping and like writing down new vocabulary words. I just kept reading, and then over time you just gradually learn and remember everything. And maybe that's not the best way to do it, but it's just how I did it. I found like I don't like studying. I don't like actively studying things so much. I get really bored and frustrated. But if I'm just doing something for fun, then I don't notice that I'm studying, I guess. So yeah, I just read the manga, 3 to 4 volumes of manga a day. And if there was a word I didn't know, I just skipped over it, And oftentimes, if you're reading a sentence and you understand 80% of the words in it, you can usually from context and from the pictures in the manga and the story, you can glean what those 2 missing words mean. Like just from that, and in the moment you'll know what they mean, and you might forget them the next moment, but then when they come back again, you'll learn it even quicker. And that's just how it works. Cookie. I'd like to know more curly details about hiragana, such as styles of using O, U, or O with a horizontal dash over it in Romaji, as well as font consideration. Obviously, this extends to katakana where appropriate. Yeah, fonts are kind of annoying. I mean, even with English, sometimes there are some fonts that are just really hard to read. And sometimes with Japanese, you'll find like if you learned hiragana in a certain font and then you see it in another font, it's kind of hard to read. It's just something you have to get used to. If you have, if you're learning Japanese, put the Japanese font input, the language bar, put that in your computer ASAP so that you can practice writing in Japanese. And then you can just change the fonts up yourself as you're writing it and, practice experiencing seeing what hiragana looks like in other fonts. As far as romanizing like a long O vowel, OU, or OO, or O with a dash over it, like the Genki textbook does this. I do not like this. In hiragana, it's written O-U, like a long O vowel, but they will romanize it as a double O, O-O. I don't like that for many reasons. One, I don't like it because it's just it's just an incorrect representation of the hiragana, because let's say you have a word like oki, that actually is 2 hiragana O's next to each other. But then if you have a word, ouki, like, are you in the mood to chase someone? Ouki ka? That would be ouki as well, but it would be O-U-K-I, not O-O-K-I. It's different. So I don't like it for that reason. And then the other reason that I don't like using a double O for a long O vowel in Romaji, I don't like it because when beginners of Japanese see that, they think it's U. They think it's pronounced U. Like they'll see arigato with the double O, gozaimasu, and they'll think it's arigatu gozaimasu, and that's wrong, and it's just confusing. So I prefer O, U That's my favorite way to Romanize a long O vowel. I think the O with the dash over it, like that's a good compromise. It just shows, hey, this is a long, because sometimes you'll see the O and you'll mispronounce it as oo. But yeah, I still prefer O, oo as the best way to Romanize a long O vowel just because I think it is the most accurate. What are your top must-watch anime? And what am I watching right now? Okay, so my must-watch anime, oh God. Anime is not a monolith. There's so many different kinds of genres. It just depends on what you're into, I guess. Yeah, and like I could give you my favorite anime. I don't necessarily recommend that everybody watch these. These are just anime that I really enjoyed. Let's see, and I'm gonna miss some probably when I'm listing them, and after the fact I'm gonna be like, oh, I forgot to mention this one. But I really like Sailor Moon, obviously. Shigi Yugi was my second love. And then, God, what other anime series did I really like? I really like GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka. I really liked, oh goodness, Death Note. I think they did a really good job with Death Note. I honestly don't know if I prefer the manga or the anime with Death Note. Usually I prefer the manga over the anime of a series, but with Death Note, with Sailor Moon, I totally prefer the anime. But yeah, Death Note, they did a good job. Oh God, what else? I'm already forgetting. Oh, Yorimoi, as I mentioned earlier, I really, really enjoyed that anime. It restored my faith in anime. I kind of stopped watching a lot of newer anime in the early aughts because anime kind of got crappy around then. So I kind of stopped watching it. Oh, Agretsuko. I love Agretsuko. Although that's not very like anime-ish. Ooh, Chibi Maruko-chan. It's a little lesser known gem, but I really like it. And it's also not very anime-ish, but I really like it. Oh geez, I am surely forgetting some really cool series. What else? Yeah, like a lot of the other anime series that I like, the manga is better. Like I really like Marmalade Boy, but the manga is better. I liked Hime-chan's Ribbon, the manga is better. I liked, actually Kodomo no Omocha, the anime might be slightly better than the manga. It's a lot of Ribbon mascot comics I just listed. Oh, you know, Garasu no Kamen, the most recent anime version of it. There's like 3 or 4 anime versions of that manga series. It's one of my favorite manga series, but I think they did a really good job with the anime. Their most recent adaptation of it. And again, that one is also not very anime-ful. Most of my anime series that I recommend are like not very anime-y. Oh, and Mitsudomoe. That's a very anime, and I really enjoyed it. It's crazy, and I really like it. So maybe while I'm editing this video, I'll put like the names of other anime series that I like stupidly forgot next to my face. But there's probably more. Those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. As for what series I'm watching right now, like I said, I don't watch much recent anime anymore. I watch like maybe 2 to 4 new series per year. And right now I'm watching Redacted. I can't say the name of the series that I'm watching right now because it's related to something that I'm translating, which I can't disclose because I signed NDAs. So I'm watching Redacted right now. Yay. How are you celebrating Christmas? Well, I have my cookies right here. And I'm going to insert something that I said at the start of this video. I outdo myself every year and bake several different kinds of cookies. I have 3 kinds of cookies here, well 4 sort of, and a little bonbon, little coconut walnut bonbon that I also make. I have a sad gingerbread man holding a bell. He's holding the bell because I accidentally put the cookies away for storage before the frosting was completely dried. So the bell stuck to him, and I guess that's why he's sad. He doesn't want to be like stuck holding this bell. It's okay, I'm gonna bite your head off. And then I always do an assortment of cut out shortbreads. This one's a Christmas tree. And then I turn some of them into Linzers, which are jammed sandwich cookies. And this jam is Tayberry jam. Tayberries, they're really good. They're like a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry. And my husband and I went berry picking over the summer, and I made some jams, and that's that. And these are tahini cookies. I just had an overabundance of tahini in my pantry, and so I looked up a recipe for tahini cookies a couple months ago, and Bon Appetit had one, and it was pretty good, so I made them again. These are vegan too, by the way. Thank you, Sarah from the past. Anyway, yeah, these cookies, tea, scented candles, trees. I tend to like the more pagan aspects of Christmas. I like, you know, the trees, the candles, the lights, cookies. My husband and I, every year, we started this tradition in 2011. We do what is called Duckmas, where we roast a duck and have fixins with the duck. I'm going to do like mashed potatoes with parsnips and Brussels sprouts and some cranberry sauce. And I'm going to make a Yule log this year. He's convinced me to try making a Yule log again. I'm going to do a vanilla Genoese. I'll probably put some orange zest in it. And then I'm going to do a blood orange curd, maybe lightened up with a little whipped cream in the center of it, and then I'm going to cover it in not ganache. I found that actually there's this chocolate glaze I make that's dark chocolate with butter and water. It doesn't sound super appetizing, but it's amazingly rich and wonderful, and I actually like it kind of slightly better than ganache. So I'm going to put that glaze over it, and then I'm going to do some candied orange and lemon peel leaves, like to decorate it, and maybe some meringue mushrooms if I feel like it. Neither of us is really big on meringue, so I might skip the meringue mushrooms. But yeah, I'm going to try making a Yule log this year. And we have some presents. I don't really like the commercial consumer aspects of Christmas. I don't like modern Christmas music. I only like the traditional stuff. And yeah, I like presents, but I prefer like handmade presents. And my husband made me a present this year, so I'm really excited to open it tomorrow. Yeah, 2010s in review and hopes for the next decade. Well, if we want this video to be 4 hours long, I guess I could review the decade. I'll just say I started this decade, at the beginning of this decade, I was living in my mom's garage. Well, it was technically a room connected to the garage, and it had electricity and stuff. It wasn't like a garage. And my brother and his wife and his kids were also living in the house. My mom was having major problems with her health, and my brother's baby son was about to die of cancer. So that's how I started the decade, and now, oh, and I was single, and now I am married and living in a completely different state and making a middle-class-ish income, and yeah, so a lot has changed, I guess you could say. Yeah, at the start of the decade, I was also still sort of in grad school, or I just completed the coursework, but I was like working on the thesis, basically just trying to kind of lie to myself. Like, I knew in my heart of hearts I wasn't going to finish it because I figured out that I didn't want to become a college professor after all. But on the other hand, I was like, wow, sunk cost fallacy. I already put so much time and money into this degree. I might as well finish it. And everyone around me was pressuring me to do the same. They're like, come on, finish it. You're so close. And it's like, dude, but the thesis is the hardest part and it takes forever. And it's like, I hate it. I'm miserable. I already know I'm not going to use this degree, so why bother finishing it? I didn't have that revelation to finally just quit until about a year into the decade. But yeah, it was a year into the decade that I quit the thesis. I decided to plunge more into just translating. I joined comedy sports where I met my husband. Yeah, 2011 was a year where a lot of stuff turned around and changed. And then 2012 was actually when I started this channel. Back then it was a cooking channel. Some of you guys still remember. Comment below if you're one of those people who actually subscribed when this was still a cooking channel. I know, Ray Hay, you're one of those people, and some of my real life friends like Susan and Monique, I know you guys are out there. But yeah, there's a few stragglers that are still around from the old days, from the old times when this was a cooking channel. But I moved that entire cooking channel onto my cooking channel, so you can go check that out if you want blasts from the past. Yeah, it wasn't until 2016 that I rebooted this channel as a Japanese anime translating channel. And it was also about the mid-decade that my career picked up. I got more regular work with the agency that I was translating for, to a point where I could call myself barely middle class. But hey, it's a big step up. I was used to being poor my entire life, so I felt rich for the first couple of years. And I got my cats in this decade as well, all of them, so that's a good thing too. Am I still recording? Let's be paranoid and check. Yes, I am still recording. Miney! Come here, baby! Hi! And as for hopes for the next decade, I hope that we get our shit together as a species and like make the world a better place for everyone. I hope that we turn things around and stop giving all of the money to the rich people and have it more equally distributed amongst everyone, and that we save the planet, maybe. That would kind of be cool. All right, now I'm going to turn this around, and instead of you guys asking me questions, I've asked you guys to tell some assumptions that you might have about me. I've added like 1,000 new subscribers to this channel since my last Q&A video, so a lot of you guys probably don't actually know me that well, so this should be interesting. So in one of my prompts asking for assumptions about me, just as examples, I wrote, oh, what's my favorite color? What's my favorite food? But a lot of you guys took that literally and just like answered those questions, which is fine. I will address those first. So I asked what my favorite food is, and people said, I assume it's home cooked and made from scratch, miso ramen, and rice. So the first answer is sort of correct. I just like really high quality food, basically. I don't like processed food. I don't like instant food. I don't like fast food. Home cooked, I mean, my favorite food's only home cooked if it's home cooked really well. Like, not everyone's a good home cook, myself included. I mean, if it's something that I've never made before and I suck at making it, it's not necessarily good if it's home cooked. Miso ramen, I've actually never had miso ramen. I don't really like miso. I like miso soup, okay, but I've never had miso ramen because if I ever go out to ramen, I always get tonkotsu ramen because that is the best ramen by far. But maybe I should try miso ramen someday. And then rice is not that far off. I do love rice. It used to be a huge part of my diet when I was poor. But anyway, my favorite food is, drumroll, pizza. Really basic, but yeah, I am always up for pizza. So I think that has to be my favorite food just because I'm always up for it and I always love eating it. Next I asked, do I live in a house? And we answered apartment, and yes, a house. I live in an apartment, unfortunately. I really want to live in a house, but apartment because I can't afford the down payment because property is ridiculously expensive in this part of the country and world. For my favorite color, we have plum purple, specifically plum purple, purple, or pink. Well, in the picture of myself that I posted along with these prompts, I was wearing a pink tank top, so that's kind of unfair. That's probably why that one person guessed pink. But no, I actually don't like pink. Purple is my favorite color. But the person who said plum purple, yeah, it's a specific purple. It's not plum purple, but it's like a dark, rich, bluish purple. I don't really like reddish purples. I like bluish purples. So that's like my very specific purple that I like. Otherwise, I'd say my next favorite color, blue is always nice. I pretty much like every shade of blue. And then I like forest green. I like dark, bold green also. I asked, do I drive? And one person said yes. And then Rich said, no, you just have a car as a second film studio. It doesn't move. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea to have my car as my second film studio. But yeah, I know I drive. So what is my belief system? Agnostic atheist, just because I think people who have lived outside the US or have had adequate exposure to other non-Western cultures tend to have a more open mind toward other belief systems or just a less strictly Christian belief system. Someone else said flying spaghetti monster, maybe Zen Buddhism, non-theistic, and then agnostic. Yeah, so I was raised Christian and I do like Jesus. I think his teachings are good teachings to follow, but yeah, I don't go to church. I don't know if there is or isn't a God, so agnostic is the best description. I asked, what am I afraid of? And Jacob Brooks says, I assume you're afraid of snakes. And then Rich says, being normal. As for the snakes, I'm not really afraid of snakes, but they do creep me out. I don't like snakes. Spiders I'm actually afraid of. I mean, I'm afraid of a lot of things. We're all afraid of a lot of things, but I'd say if we're talking phobias, my biggest fear is flying. And here are just some generalized assumptions you guys have about me. So Rich has a lot. Let's see. Closet anime cosplayer who likes to go to events with con in the name. Used to be. It wasn't a closet cosplayer either. I was out. I was an out cosplayer. This was way back in the late 90s and early aughts though, when cosplaying wasn't nearly as sophisticated as it is now. It's like, I don't have the patience to make the costumes for cosplaying nowadays because everyone is so super professional. And it's like, I could be that level. I did work professionally in a costume shop for a few years, but I mean, I don't have the equipment actually at the moment to really make really good costumes. And yeah, I don't really have the patience either. So I probably wouldn't do it really anymore unless I made mashup costumes. I kind of like a lot of the mashup cosplays that I've been seeing lately. And I have a good idea for Sailor Moon mashup. And one of these days, like if I get enough subscribers, all you folks who are saying I need more subscribers, make that happen. If nothing else, so that I can then put out a signal, a bat signal or a moon signal as it were, to all the Sailor Moon fans, because one of these days I really want, it's a lifelong dream I've had, well not lifelong, since I was a teenager, dream I've had to get together a cosplay group of all of the monsters of the day from Sailor Moon. I'd be satisfied with like just the monsters of the day from one of the seasons, like maybe all the sailors from Stars, or all the weird like, you know, daimons from S. I think that would be cool too. But if we could do like all 200 episodes, all the monsters of the day, I think that would just be amazing. So help me make that happen. Subscribe. You still sleep with dolls. No, I don't still sleep with dolls. Between 4 cats and a husband, there's just not room in bed for all the dolls. But I do still have dolls, and they hang out about a yard away from the bed. So close. Cats are life. Duh. You are a Hufflepuff. I'd say Hufflepuff is my second house. Like, if you can do the hybrid houses, yeah, I would be half Hufflepuff, but my true house is Ravenclaw. You wish more men could lead properly in partner dancing. I don't care, because I don't do partner dancing. I don't do social dancing. It's hilarious. I have a BA in dance, and I don't know how to do social dancing. I only know how to do, like, ballet and jazz and modern dance and stuff. I know how to do partner dancing, like ballet, partner dancing. Yeah, but I don't do social dancing, so I actually don't care if more men could lead properly, because I don't know how to dance social dancing either, so I don't care. You are a socioholic, workaholic, funaholic. Well, I don't like socializing. I hate that. Workaholic, yeah. I never like to think of myself as a workaholic, but here I am on my day off making a video for you guys, so I guess maybe I am a workaholic. I do like to make things more complicated and more difficult than they need to be. Like, I made, you know, 3 kinds of Christmas cookies, and I'm gonna make a 4th kind, even though I don't have to. It's not like I have a big family or anything. I did give most of them away, by the way, but yeah, I do tend to make things more difficult and complicated than I have to on myself. So the workaholic isn't exactly that far off. Funaholic, I don't know, like I like enjoying life and I like enjoying the process. I'm not one of those people that will do something that I hate for a long period of time for a reward, for like a possible reward. If I don't enjoy the process, I just don't do it anyway. I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, I mean, I guess funaholic. It just depends on how you define fun. Like, I think most people would look at my life and they wouldn't necessarily describe it as fun because I barely go out. So I don't know about that one. I assume you like to put stuff off until you can't ignore it anymore, like getting new glasses. Yeah, these new glasses. The reason why actually I put off getting the new glasses is because I couldn't afford new glasses, because our health insurance in America sucks. But yeah, I do put off stuff. We actually got like a 3rd notice in the mail today. They're recalling Honda Accords, and I have a Honda Accord because they have faulty like airbags. And, you know, we just have to take it in to a service station to get the airbag replaced, and it's free, but it's like we've still been putting it off. Like, my husband and I are both like that. We hate doing stuff like that, so we just put it off and put it off and put it off until it has to be done. And yeah, we're probably gonna have to do that. I think that you don't watch recent anime. Yeah, like I said earlier, I do watch recent anime, just not much. I watch probably 2 to 4 new shows per year. This year, my new shows were Redacted, as I mentioned earlier, Agretzko. I think there was one other. Right, I did watch a couple episodes of Domestic Girlfriend because I sang the theme song like a few months ago on this channel with a translation because it was a request, and I listened to the song and I'm like, holy shit, this song is awesome. So I'm gonna do the song even though I've never seen the anime, and I was like, I should watch the anime at least, and I watched the first episode, and like a lot of anime, like the first episode was pretty compelling, had cool setup, but I mean, it was kind of weird too, you know, kind of out there. But, you know, it wasn't compelling enough to get me to watch the rest of the series. It was like, okay, kind of fan servicey for dudes. And I think there was one more. Like I said, it's usually like between 2 and 4 new series per year. But I don't keep up with them like as they come out on Crunchyroll usually. I don't like that. I like waiting until the whole series is out and then watching it in one fell swoop. So I assume you like reading detective novels in your spare time and live in a draughty apartment. And then someone else said, I second the bit about detective novels. I don't read detective novels. Maybe I should. I've enjoyed like any detective story I've seen or read. Like, I have read a couple detective novels in my lifetime, but I've enjoyed them, but I don't do it regularly. I actually don't read very much at all. I stopped reading regularly when I started translating games regularly, because the games that I translate are essentially light novels. So I'm basically reading novels all day anyway. So the last thing I want to do at the end of the day is read more novels. So I haven't actually been reading much the last decade at all. Probably like a book a year, if even that. I should really get into audiobooks. I think I could do that. As for the draughty apartment, no, this apartment gets too hot. If it's ever cold, it's because we never use the heater, because we're on the first floor and there's apartments all around us and they probably blast their heater. I typically like my living space colder than most people like it. And especially in the wintertime, I really like to experience the seasons. So I like it when my apartment's like 60 degrees in the wintertime because it's supposed to be cold. But sometimes it gets up to 70 in here because of all of the other apartments heating this apartment. So I have to like open the windows to cool it off. I think you've worn Gothic makeup on several occasions. I've worn Gothic makeup maybe twice. And once it was for a photo shoot. There was a summer where my friend and I we did like song parodies of like 4 major song styles, and one of them was like goth, and we did photo shoots to go with it. Like we released like they were fake album covers, and so I did put on, you know, full goth makeup for that. I had to like look at a bunch of pictures and do my best. I suck at makeup. Like I usually just don't wear it, or, you know, this is pretty much the extent of the makeup that I will wear, and I pretty much only wear it for videos for you guys. Or if I'm performing on stage, I wear makeup because I feel weird if I'm not wearing makeup when I'm performing on stage. But yeah, as for goth makeup, no, because it's pretty heavy, and like I don't like heavy makeup, and I'm not good at it either. But I used to dress goth. I'd wear like the tight dresses and tights and tall black boots and all that. I kind of stopped doing that after a while. I just got bored of it, I guess. And then recently I gained a bunch of weight, so I just wear sweats all the time. I assume you are a dog person.
Hermione, am I a dog person?
I assume your first crush was Tuxedo Mask. Mine was. Yeah, Tuxedo Mask kind of was a bit of a crush. My first crushes were cartoon characters. I'd say Tusky from Fushigi Yugi was like my actual first crush. But Tuxedo Mask, yeah, kind of Tuxedo Mask as well. Only I think he was a lot hotter as Mamoru, as Chiba Mamoru, instead of Tuxedo Mask. Like Tuxedo Mask, you can't really see his face, and he doesn't do anything. He just shows up and says stuff, and then Saraba, and flies away, and like, I don't know, that's not very attractive to me. But Chiba Mamoru, yes. I also assume that despite being an excellent cook, you are entirely self-taught and you own almost no kitchen appliances. The entirely self-taught part is pretty much true. I did take a domestic science class in Japan. Like it was part of, like I was in Dikumi, and Dikumi was all about like caring for the elderly and like home housewifey stuff. So I learned tea ceremony and traditional Japanese sewing and like cooking a little bit while I was in Japan. Yeah, but aside from that, I have had no formal cooking instruction. I'm all self-taught, trial and error, and watching a lot of cooking videos. I do own some kitchen appliances, but yeah, I don't own like a lot of those unitasker kitchen appliances. Like I don't own a deep fryer, I don't own a bread machine, I don't own one of those KitchenAids, although I would like to have one once I have a big enough kitchen to keep it. That's really what it is mostly, is I have such a small kitchen usually, or I share a kitchen with people, so I have very limited space, so I just kind of can't have appliances. But yeah, I don't really like gadgets and appliances so much anyway. My husband really likes gadgets and appliances, and I don't. So he brought a couple crock pots into the marriage. I've got a juicer. I'm staring at it right now. It's sitting on top of the fridge. I go through phases. Like I'll make juice for like 2 months, and then I won't make juice for a couple years, and then I'll make juice. I've got an ice cream maker and a water filter. Does that count? Ooh, I have a Soda Stream, if that counts as an appliance. And I've got a blender and a couple food processors and a toaster. That's it though, like as far as appliances go. I have a hand mixer. I don't know if that really counts as an appliance. I'm not so great with assumptions, but I wanted to say that if you hadn't shared with us bits about you living in America, I could have easily pictured you living in a small, cozy, book-crammed, cute cottage in the English countryside. Ah, that sounds lovely. I would love to live in a small cottage in the English countryside. You watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Nope, I've never seen an episode, but a lot of my friends have and they love it. I don't know, I might like it, but I've never seen it. I assume you're socially awkward.
What gave that away? Come here.
And now we have moved and now we have moved on to the Christmas wishes section of the video. I asked you guys to tell me what you want for Christmas. And so let's see what you guys want for Christmas. Adam says, for Christmas, I want the Dictionary of Insert Level Here Japanese Grammar Series, which I am indeed getting all 3. Well, congratulations if you're getting them. Gaius Night or Gash Night 1. What I want for Christmas is to spend time with those I love. A more shallow wish would be a new phone. That sounds good to me too. Yeah, my phone is like, God, how old is it now? It's almost 6 years old. And to spend time with those I love, that's always a good one. Charmy Sketches, for Christmas, I want a new bookshelf. Bookshelves are very good things, very useful. Oysto, I think. I want to get a pet for Christmas. Aw, but I'm allergic to cats and I work too much to take care of a dog. Yeah, that does suck. That's one thing that I'm really, really grateful that I freelance and work from home is that I can have cats, I can have my pets, and I can also be there for them and take care of them. They appreciate that too, of course. Some of my cats are extremely needy. Hermione, that you just saw a minute or so ago in my lap, she's very demanding. Like she's still kind of like a kitten. She's only 2 years old. Actually, it's 2 years almost. Is the anniversary, the gotcha-versary, the anniversary of us finding her. We literally rescued her off of the street. She was almost dead. She and her 2 brothers, they were like scrawny. You could feel all their bones and they were flea infested and worm infested, but we picked them up off the street and we took them in and we cleaned them up and took them to the vet and nursed them back to health slowly and adopted out the boys, but I kept Hermione because I'd fallen in love with her. But yeah, it was almost 2 years ago to the day that we found her. I digress. Anyway, yeah, I really like that I can be at home working with my cats. So I hope that you get to find a situation where you can get a pet too, because pets are pretty awesome. And Rich, all he wants is a successful operation for his wife and the recovery to a new start to a happier and healthier Jennifer in 2020. That's a good wish too. I hope she has a good operation and a healthier start in 2020 as well. And Eiko-chan wants a Keurig. What the hell is a Keurig? Oh, it's a coffee maker thing. Yeah, if you're really into coffee, that would be pretty cool. Well, I hope you get yourself one. Well, I hope you can get one of those. And speaking of what people want for Christmas, I also had a giveaway that people could enter. And one of the advantages of being a fan of a small YouTube creator is whenever they do giveaways, your chances of winning a giveaway are really, really high. So anyway, I have the names of the people who entered in my husband's hat, and I'm going to draw it right now. The winner of this giveaway gets a handmade scarf from me in colors of your choice. It kind of limits to what I can find at Joann Fabric, but they have good yarns there. Okay, and the winner is Oysto. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but O-Y-S-T-O. I'm going to put a comment under your comment in the video. Hopefully you'll get that. But yeah, Oysto. Send me an email at sarahktranslate@yahoo.com to follow up. Well, before we say goodbye for Christmas, I thought I'd sing you guys a song in Japanese. This is Silent Night in Japanese, and I'll put the lyrics down so you guys can sing along if you want to. 清しこの夜星は光救いの御子はまぶねの中に眠りたも糸安く清しこの夜見つ のみ前にぬかずきぬかしこみて Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Solstice, Kwanzaa, New Year, etc. Well, there will be a video up New Year's Eve because that is a Tuesday. Thank you to all my patrons and all my subscribers and all the random people who stumbled upon this video and the lurkers who watch my videos because they show up in your homepage but you're not actually subscribed. Hello to all of you people as well. Thanks for watching this long video on your Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.